Hi, friends. This is Blogging for Business How, Part 2. And I just realized that I forgot in Part 1 to show you how to access Blogger if that's the one that you choose. So you go to your your Gmail account. And if you come and click right here, it will give you access to a YouTube channel that's already connected to you, which again, maybe you haven't put anything in it, but you kind of automatically have one if you want to get it started, which I will do a video on as well. But it also, if you scroll down, you can find Blogger. So that's how you would get started if you choose Blogger as your platform. That's how you would get started with Blogger. So let me now tell you just the last part of how. So in this part, I want to talk about how to reach readers, because you can write the most beautiful, inspiring, perfect blog post ever, but if nobody sees it, right? So we should think a little bit about how to reach readers. So I want to talk about this in two parts. Excuse me, one, social media, and two, something that's called link ups or link parties, blog hops. They have a couple of different names. So when I first started blogging, I used the cross your fingers approach. I wrote semi-lame blog posts and just hoped that someone out there was just looking for blog posts to read and they would come across my posts. And I did use blog posts, as I said, to kind of give clients who had questions some information on particular subjects. I use them so I wouldn't have to explain the same thing over and over again. And that was fine for how I was using it and what I was using it for. But I have since learned that you really need a strategy for getting eyes on your blog posts. And so my two best suggestions, just from my own experience, and certainly I don't know everything, but from my experience since 2009, I have found those two things, social media and link ups, to be helpful. So I'm going to talk first about social media and something called cross-pollinating. So I learned from my social media advisor friend that I mentioned last time that every time you put anything online for your business, you should try to use it again, cross-pollinate, so to speak. So for example, what that looks like is if you write a blog post, then post it in your Facebook group. And then in your next blog post, put in your YouTube tutorial and then tweet it, right? Like kind of go, share around, reuse your content, use it in different places, wait a year and tweet it again or whatever. Use hashtags in your social media posts so that when people are searching for digital scrapbooking or photo organization or easy photo books or whatever, they'll find you. They'll find what you're posting and sharing. You can always post throwbacks, right? Oh, here's a throwback to a blog post I wrote 8 months ago. What's it called? For a while, it was kind of popular to have a throwback Thursday. I'm posting something old. Let's have a look back. So anybody who missed your content can see it again. I post on Facebook like all the time, and I have 200 people or whatever in my group, my Facebook group, and like 4 people like it. So I'm pretty sure that my posts are not reaching everyone all the time. So reposting those is just fine. And if you come across one, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, I read that. It's fine, right? It doesn't matter. I wouldn't say like to post the same thing every month or anything, but like give it some space and let people have an opportunity to read your blog post again. So anytime you're thinking about writing, think about how you're going to share it, how you can repurpose it and reshare it. And again, if you write, let's say photo storage, why you write a blog post in January about why photo storage, why storing your photos digitally is so important. Your house burns down, whatever, your files get corrupted, et cetera, but Forever solves that because blah, 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 right? So you write that in January. You share it and whatever, you tweet it and whatever you're going to do. Share it in your Facebook group, whatever. You email it in your newsletter, whatever. And then in, let's say, September, right? So 8-9 months later, you write something else about photo storage, but it's kind of a different take on it. It's kind of like, well, did you know that when you use your app in Forever, you get access to these years and years and years worth of photos right there on your phone? That's so cool. And you can actually put a link to that one that you wrote earlier about photo storage, right? Okay. The other thing about sharing on social media, sharing your blog posts on social media, is that from my experience, you do not need to be on every social media platform there is. Pick a couple you like, a couple you'll do, and just stick with those. I will say I don't love Twitter. I never use it, but I will just, it's so easy to just tweet it, just throw it out there. Whatever, if someone happens to come across it, fine. It's kind of not worth my time, but at the same time, I already got the Twitter account, got some followers. I don't feel like it ever goes anywhere, but why not? I will say that I find most of my business on Facebook. And so if you are exploring social media platforms that you can share your blog on, or just anything, share your business on, I can answer questions about YouTube and about Facebook. Let's see. So you can and should share your blog posts, however you keep in touch with your clients and potential clients, whether that's an email once a month, a newsletter, like however you do that, a weekly one, I don't know, whatever. Definitely share your blog posts in there too. All right, so that's sharing on social media, sharing your blog posts on social media. The other thing I want to mention is reaching readers via link ups, or they're also called link parties, or they're also called blog hops. Okay. So I had never, I shouldn't say never. I obviously have heard of them by now, but I had never, when I first started blogging, I had never heard of blog hops. Maybe they didn't exist. I don't even know. But let me tell you what they are. And I'm going to use those words interchangeably. Okay. Link ups, link parties, blog hops. So a blog hop is a really fun way for bloggers to get together online and share each other's content. Okay. So some bloggers, in order to get more people coming to their blogs, will actually host the link party blog hop. So I want to show you one example. Let me hold on. Share my screen. I have 17 things open, so you just don't want to see all that. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I pulled it up on the other thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 2 examples of a blog hop or link party. So this one is a blog or a website, I don't know, blog, I guess, called Ducks in a Row. And she actually has a couple of different link parties. This is just the one that happens to be open right now that's hosted by a whole bunch of different people. But anyway, this one is called Happiness is Homemade. And you can see that this particular host will have different features. So whatever got posted last week, I think this is a weekly one. Anyway, whatever got posted last week, she and her little co-hosts right here will go and decide which ones to feature, which is cool because then if your thing gets featured, then a lot of people will see it, right? Your blog post. Sorry, she has huge pictures. This takes forever. Okay, so you can see she has some rules about it. She doesn't have, is this the one that I'm thinking of? Yeah, so she likes you to post recipes, crafts, or your latest DIY project. And so I tend to just put my blog posts that kind of go into the crafty DIY stuff in there, but really digital scrapbooking is crafty and DIY and stuff. So a lot of mine go in there. But anyway, yeah, and so you can see here, all of these are from like whatever, 100 different bloggers posting their latest blog posts, right? And then you can click on each one and read it and comment on it and that kind of a thing. Let me show you one more. This is a blog link up. She calls it a blog link up called the Happy Now blog link up. This one's kind of fun, I think, because you can only post two articles, two of your blog posts. Sorry, she has a lot of ads on here too, so I gotta scroll all the way down here. La 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 la. Okay. And then okay, scroll faster, sorry. So she only lets you do 2 blog posts, but her theme is whatever makes you happy. What is making you happy this week? That's what you can post about. So I post everything. I post photo organization blog posts because I'm like, photo organization makes me happy. My photos are organized, you know? So, and these are the same idea, right? These are just people posting what they've written lately. And then they, you can see what other people, you know, you can click on each other's stuff. And usually people who participate in these will click around and read each other's, right? And so it's just a good way to get seen. So those are just 2 examples of a link up, link party, or blog hop. And so I kind of recommend that just because it's another way to reach people you've never met before, right? People outside your circle. Let's see. I would also recommend commenting on the blog posts that you read, because comments, and allowing comments on your blog posts too, because comments make Google consider your blog post relevant because people are interested in commenting. So when I first started, I was like, I don't need people's comments. I'm just like sharing some information because that's how I was using the blog. But later I kind of realized like, oh no, I want to like draw people and show that I'm relevant and stuff. So yeah, let's see. So I mentioned that some people only allow 2 blog posts. Some people have a theme. So just check the rules before you post. And just remember too that you can reshare old blog posts as well. Oh yeah, and I have 5 blog hops that I kind of participate in. And I can kind of guide you to finding some that you can participate in. You can participate in the ones I do, or I can show you how to find new ones and stuff. So I want to just give you an example. So I don't know this for sure, but I may have gotten 2 purchases of Forever Storage by participating in link parties or blog hops. I stopped participating in them for a while because I spent an inordinate amount of time going back through old blog posts and removing my Heritage Makers website link, and sometimes changing Heritage Makers Consultant to Memory Keeping Consultant, and just kind of updating the whole thing. And so I spent several months doing that. Took forever. And then after I did, I started sharing my updated links again. So I've just kind of started doing that again recently. And in June, I had 2 people I do not know buy Open Forever accounts and buy storage. One bought 10 gigabytes and one bought 25 gigabytes. And then last week, the person with 10 bought another 10. Now, I don't know where they came from. It could be from anywhere, but the fact that I started participating in link parties again makes me think, And the fact that they both bought storage and they didn't do something else makes me think, did I share a post about storage? I probably did. I didn't remember, but I was updating my blog post and like, oh, that's probably a good one to share. And I just shared it like it wasn't really planned. So anyway, so it's possible. It's possible to just get people from getting your name out there and writing blog posts and sharing information with people. So if I didn't get those clients from blog posts, I might have gotten them from Pinterest. That's my other suspicion. So that brings me to what I consider a must for blogging, which is a Pinterest account. People search for things they're interested in on Pinterest all the time, and then they save them for later. They pin them, all right? So then when people follow each other, they see, oh, you pinned that thing about permanent photo storage? Let me read that, right? So it's a really cool way to share your blog posts, and by having people able to pin them. So creating Interesting images on your blog post that people can pin will help them find your posts and therefore find you and therefore find your business. And another kind of recommendation for Pinterest is to find group boards. They're shared Pinterest boards that multiple people post to. I am part of I through a blog hop kind of made friends with someone who does a family focused blog. And so her Pinterest boards are all related to family, and she has a couple of shared boards that she invited me to. So now I can pin my stuff on her board. That means her followers see what I pin, et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of have to do a little bit of reaching out to people and getting to know people a little bit online in order to be able to do that. But it's very useful. And let me check my notes, see what else I wanted to do. All right. So I personally have a personal Pinterest account. That's where I get all my ASL teaching ideas and my little cute thing, whatever, jokes or whatever. But then I have a business Pinterest account. And my social media advisor suggests that even if you have a business account, put in some things that are kind of personal, that kind of make you a person. So I have a recipe board in my business account, and I have a travel board in my business account. Because those are things that I'm interested in, but I'm also not like clogging it up with like teaching ideas and like all these other things. All right, so the main thing to know about blogging with Pinterest is to make a Pinterest friendly image that you can put in your blog post so that it's optimized for sharing on Pinterest. Let me show you an example of that. Pinterest images are tall and long. So let me show you this. I have too many things open, just saying. Okay, just a second. I realized I closed that down, so I gotta open it again. Okay. So this is a Pinterest image or Pinterest size image, and I make all these on Canva. All right, so if you scroll down here to the bottom, this long, tall one right here is a Pinterest image. That's what Pinterest is looking for. They're the most popular ones. So if you go down and see my next one, oh, that one is just. So here's my article about using QR codes, blah, 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 blah. Got a video in there. Pinterest image, long and tall. Now that said, and like I said, I use Canvas to make these, but that said, I also make sure that I have some square ones in there, because when I post my blog post to the link parties, those little images are square. I don't know if you remember looking at that a minute ago, but those images are square. So I always want a square image and a long image in all of my blog posts. All right, let me see if that is all. Yes, okay. So throughout the post, I will have a variety of images. Maybe it's an image of a book, and I take it from the Forever website or whatever, right? I have kind of a variety, but I always make sure that I have a long, tall one for Pinterest, and that I have a square one for a blog hop. So, all right, so that is kind of, I'm sure you have other questions and I didn't cover everything, but that is how part 2, how to make blogging part of your business. This part 2 is about how to get the word out, how to share your blog posts and reach a wider audience. So let me know what questions you have.